Good evening, world. Or afternoon. It's pretty much the evening. It's 4:20 in the afternoon. It's coming to 5 o'clock, obviously. Since I'll be done this video close to 7. So there's a high chance I might not make a second video again today. Yesterday, sorry about that, guys. I had like no time to make a second video. By the time I finished, my video was already like 9 o'clock. So I couldn't make a second video. I told you I need to go to the store and get my beer and my smokes. Obviously. I need to go to the store and get my beer and my smokes. Hence why yesterday I did not, I'm going to repeat myself, I did not make a second video because I ran out of time. It was 9 o'clock by the time I finished my video, and I had to go to the store and get my beer and my smokes. I'm like, yeah. I usually take my shower around 9. 9:10. I take a nice like 15-minute shower, 17-minute shower. And then around like 9:38, close to 9:40, I leave to the store and I get my beer and my smokes. And by the time I arrive back home, it's like 10 o'clock, 10:05. It's about like a 27-minute walk there and back. It's about like 10 around there, and I have no time to make a video because it's that family I told you. They take away the cord every day now. But yesterday I watched the movie. You guys are probably guessing, wow, wondering what movie you watch. I watched The Fellowship of the Ring, and that was an amazing experience. Fellowship of the Ring is a masterpiece, man. Lord of the Rings is a fucking masterpiece. I watched the movie, I was hooked. Oh my god, this movie's sick. Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring is a fucking masterpiece, man. A masterpiece. And tonight I'll watch Two Towers. I'm not gonna watch Return of the King. Return of the King, I don't like as much as the other two. You see what I'm saying? It's a little bit depressing, a little bit sad. People die in it. You know what I'm saying? Theoden dies, and you know what I'm saying, and the scene when Frodo and Sam are on the Mount Doom, that's very sad and depressing. Like, I can carry you and all stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's very depressing, obviously. And something about Return of the King that makes me feel depressed and sad when I watch it. Because it's the ending of this. I don't know, probably because it's the ending of the series, maybe. It makes me very depressing and sad because the journey ends, or the whole Lord of the Rings journey ends in Return of the King. That's why I like Return of the King. I'm gonna keep saying this. I like Return of the King the least of the three. I like Two Towers the best, and then Fellowship of the Ring is a very close second. I watched Fellowship of the Ring, and I was very, very hooked watching it. Sorry, I was very, very hooked watching it. And what? And I'm like, if you hear the noise, excuse me. Someone is renovating in the house, so you're gonna have to excuse the noise, guys. Oh, it's annoying. Yeah, you're gonna have to watch my videos through the noise because someone is doing renovations in the house. Obviously, because my step parents are renovating the house. They're renovating the house like crazy. They already renovated the kitchen, the shower downstairs. They're doing a lot of renovations because they know in a couple of years now I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna be leaving this house. Okay, we know once Ivan finishes his book, he's gonna pay this fee. You know, once he releases his book and he gets his check, Ivan's free now. He has enough money to pay his bills. Obviously, he can live on his own with his wife. Obviously, hence why they're renovating the house, because they're gonna sell it. Obviously, my stepfamily are gonna sell the house. The house I live in now is worth like, I don't know, $200,000 maybe. It's like a $200,000 house it's worth. So for the gate, it's a nice house for a middle class family, but for someone who's a gatekeeper, it's a ghetto. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but I watched Fellowship of the Ring yesterday, and man, that was an amazing movie. I was hooked watching it. Oh my god, this movie's sick. Peter Jackson, he adapted a masterpiece, man. Yeah, how did Peter Jackson pull it off? Yeah, man, it was fucking amazing movie, man. It was an amazing movie, you know what I'm saying? Hence why he's so good for Zanus. Hey, Peter, look, man, the magic you did for the Lord of the Rings, man, I need you doing that magic for my Zanus. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm saying, yeah, Peter, seriously, I don't want something messy happening like you did for the Hobbit, where you weren't prepped and you winged it half the way. That's why the Hobbit movies weren't that good. They were okay movies. The first two were okay. Unexpected Journey was okay. And Destination Small was okay, but when you compare it to Lord of the Rings, you see a difference in quality. It's worse than Lord of the Rings. There's some people who might like The Hobbit better, but it's not better than Lord of the Rings, man. The Hobbit is not better than Lord of the Rings. Not even close. Honestly, the only reason why The Hobbit was okay was because Peter Jackson wasn't prepped, man. He winged it, man. I heard he only had a couple. Guillermo del Toro left, and Warner Bros. Gave Peter Jackson a couple months to prep. Hence why he had to wing it while they were filming all stuff. And then at one point he was lost to the point whereby he had to what? He had to delay production. You see him sitting down. You have a clip of it. Peter Jackson's like, yeah, you're winging it. Yeah, I winged it. Yeah, he even admitted, yeah, I winged it in The Hobbit. And all the people are like, yeah, Peter Jackson had no time to prep the movies. He says he was winging it the whole way through. That's why the Hobbit movies were a little messy. You know what I'm saying? They were okay. Battle of the Five Armies was a mess. That was a bad movie. But Desolation of Smaug and Unexpected Journey were okay movies. Whereas Lord of the Rings is a fucking masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? King Kong was pretty good. I enjoyed King Kong on theaters. The first like half of the movie, and then towards the end when he's in the city, I don't like that part. But King Kong was a pretty good movie. That's why Jackson's really good for Saiyans, because you have the scene when the Safians and all of them journey through the cursed Western Gillies Mountains, and you have the mosquitoes, insects biting them, and the mosquitoes are like about the size of their hand. They're big mosquitoes, and the people are fighting them off with their torches, and the mosquitoes are biting them. Yeah, and that's why Peter Jackson's really good for Xanus. And I watched Fellowship of the Ring. I'm like, yeah, this is a masterpiece. I watched Fellowship of the Ring. I'm like, yeah, this is a fucking masterpiece. This is a masterpiece of a story, Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, even though Peter Jackson followed like 20% of the book, obviously, it's still a fucking masterpiece. He was true to the themes and concepts of J.R.R. Tolkien's book. You see what I'm saying? He was true to the themes and the concepts of J.R.R. Tolkien's book. The main task is Frodo destroying the ring. He was true to the concepts and themes of the story. You see what I'm saying? He pulled it off. As Lord of the Rings is a tough book to adapt, man. And Peter Jackson pulled it off, man. That's why he's so good for Xanus. That's why when I have that talk with my team, I don't know, John Favreau, Dave Filoni, and VJ, who should I choose? We'd be like, Ivan, man, I think you should choose Peter Jackson, man. He did that Lord of the Rings franchise, man. And Lord of the Rings has very, very rich speech, rich dialogue. Peter Jackson can help you with all those words, Ivan. But at the same time, Passion of Christ is a fucking masterpiece, too. Mel Gibson did that Passion Christ masterpiece, obviously. You see what I'm saying? That's why they're both so good. That's why they both have to compete with that job. Yeah. I might watch Passion of the Christ maybe after Two Towers. I might watch Passion of the Christ after Two Towers. I might watch it. But Passion of Christ is not as good as Lord of the Rings, but it's pretty close, man. Passion of Christ is up there. As in my opinion, it's top, 30 best movies ever made, man. Easily. Up there in the top. It's in the top 50 best movie list for me. Passion of the Christ. It's a fucking amazing movie, man. But it's not as good as Lord of the Rings, but man, it's a fucking masterpiece. It's a very, very powerful story. Jesus getting whipped and he dies, and you have the demons watching him and all that stuff. Yeah. That's why Mel Gibson's also perfect for Xanus too, because you have the demons watching him while he's getting whipped and all that stuff. You have something similar to that for Xanus. You have beings in the sky watching Tactius and Eretat and all them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. That's why he's really, really good for Xanus too. Holy Shivan, they're both really good. Yeah, they're both so good. That's why they both have to really compete for that job. And tonight I'll watch... Ivan, aren't you watching Obi-Wan? Yeah, I took a break off Obi-Wan. I don't feel like watching Obi-Wan right now. Yesterday I felt like watching Lord of the Rings. Today I'll watch Two Towers. I can't wait to watch Two Towers. Watch that Helm's Deep battle take place. Because Two Towers is the best of the three movies in my opinion. It's the slowest pacing. Two Towers has the slowest pacing of the three movies. It's very slow, obviously. When you watch it, you clearly see a difference when you watch Two Towers compared to the other movies. It's the best of the three, man. Because I told you, even though Fellowship of the Ring is a close second, it's really, really good. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's very, very linear. It's just about the 9, pretty much. You get introduced to Bilbo and the Hobbits in the beginning of the movie. obviously, in Gandalf, obviously. And later on, they meet Aragorn, and they meet all the people in Rivendell, and it's just a nine. It's just about the nine in what, not the nine traveling through Mordor, and they meet the elves. They meet Galadriel, obviously, and the elves. That's it. And the ending battle is just Strider and the three versus all the orcs. So the movie's very amazing, obviously. Very, very close to Two Towers, but Two Towers takes the edge. Because Two Towers, you get introduced to the people of Rohan, Amber. You get introduced to Amber, Erwin, I'm saying, Thed, and the people of Rohan, the people of Gondor, Faramir. You get introduced to all those people. And that's why I like Two Towers better than Fellowship of the Ring. But Fellowship of the Ring is very, very close, man. It's very, very close. But Two Towers takes the edge, in my opinion. And then Return of the King is the worst. I'm going to keep saying that. It's the worst of the three. When you watch Return of the King, you clearly see a drop in quality in the movie. You have bad CGI in the movie, yeah. So Return of the King has the worst CGI, man. Remember when the scene when the ships were approaching? That was bad CGI. The Eye of Sauron crumbling down, that was bad CGI. Return of the King had a lot of bad CGI. Mount Doom looked pretty good, but it was a pretty bad CGI too, Mount Doom. And yeah. It's the worst of the three, man, trust me. Because every time I watch Return of the King, I'm always depressed and sad. I don't know why. Every time I think it's because the movie, it's the end of the movie, obviously. The journey ends. And it's the scene when Frodo and all of them, Frodo and Sam are in the Mount Doom, obviously, and they smell the toxic fumes. You know what I'm saying? They're all like very, very weak and all stuff. And he's like, I can carry you. That scene's very, very, it makes me, I almost cried on theaters. When Sam said I can carry you, I almost cried. And it makes me very depressed and sad. People die. Theoden dies. You know what I'm saying? All these people die. You know what I'm saying? And it's depressing, man. You know what I'm saying? Aragorn is no longer the Ranger. For some reason, I don't know why. When Aragorn becomes king, it pisses me off. Like, man, I preferred Aragorn as a fucking Ranger who traveled who traveled with Gimli and what? Who traveled with Gimli and Legolas. But when the moment he gets that sword and becomes king, I'm kind of pissed off because it's like, oh man, Aragorn is everyone's going into their own path. The hobbits are going to live in the Shire. Frodo goes to the Undying Lands with Gandalf. You know what I'm saying? And Strider rules as King Gondor with Arwen, and Arwen chooses immortal life. Yeah, it really, really pisses me off. It makes me sad. Hence why I like it the least. I don't know why. Just like a lot of people like Return of the King the best, man. You ask me, yeah, what's the best? I like Return of the King the best. It's not. Fellowship of the Ring is better than Return of the King, and what? And Two Towers is better than Return of the King. As Return of the King is very depressing, it's very sad, and the wars are all rushed. It has the most action, obviously, but the wars are all they're not as good quality as the ones in the first one and the second one. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the Helm's Deep battle by far is the best battle in the whole trilogy. It is better than the Pelennor battles with the people of Rohan versus the Army of Mordor. It's better than the Gondor War. It's better than the what? The war in the beginning with Faramir and his men. It's better than all those wars. Yeah, Return of the King has the most action, but it's not the best. Even though it has the most action, it's not the best movie. It's the worst. Every time I watch it, I always feel very sad and depressed. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, man. When you watch Return of the King, for some reason, you feel very. It makes you feel sad and depressed, man, because the journey ends and like everyone's moving on to their own paths. People die in it, and the war's all rushed. It's the end pretty much. Return of the King is the journey ends. Fellowship of the Ring, the journey begins. Two Towers, the journey continues, and Return of the King, the journey ends. And in my opinion, Return of the King is the worst of the three movies. I believe Peter Jackson's worst thinks Return of the King is the worst too. Yeah, I remember he told me, he's a guy, I like Two Towers the best. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Two Towers, most people do not like Two Towers. Most people think Two Towers is the worst. A lot of people think Fellowship of the Ring or Return of the King are the best. A lot of people say, yeah, Two Towers is the worst of the three, but it's not. When you watch it, it's the best of the three. You see a difference in quality. I think it's the best of the three. The reason why a lot of people think Two Towers is the worst is because Two Towers has the slowest pacing. Because I remember when I first watched Two Towers back in like 2003, I believe. Yeah, back in 2003 when I first watched Two Towers, I went to this barbecue at a guy's house. Some guy, he built our backyard pool, our backyard above ground pool, obviously, and he had a party. He was moving, and he had a party at his house, a barbecue. We went to his house, and they bought the Two Towers, and we watched it. It was the first time I watched Two Towers, and the first time I watched it, I thought it was a little boring. I thought it was a little boring. Two Towers. But then I bought two DVD box sets of Lord of the Rings, and my stepfather broke it. Obviously, I bought the special edition box set. As I continued to watch Two Towers more, I grew to love it more than the other two. I'm like, yeah, Two Towers is actually better than Fellowship of the Ring. I like it better, yeah, because you get introduced to the people of Rohan. You know what I'm saying? The people of Gondor, Gollum. You know what I'm saying? Eowyn, Emmer. You know what I'm saying? Theoden, King Theoden. Deathnor is not in Two Towers, but he's in the flashbacks. And if you watch the extended editions, you have flashbacks of Boromir before he leaves to Rivendell. You see Deathnor in Two Towers. Obviously, you get introduced to all these characters, and you get to explore Middle Earth more. You have the city of Rohan, you have the city of you have Gondor. You know what I'm saying? You get to explore Rohan a lot more than what than Fellowship of the Ring, obviously. But you can argue Fellowship of the Ring's better if you want, but I like Two Towers better. Fellowship of the Ring is a close second. They're very, very close. Fellowship of the Ring is a close second to Two Towers, and Return of the King is a close third. It is the worst of the three. I'm gonna keep saying that. It is the worst of the three. And Peter Jackson knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think Return of the King is the worst. Yes, it's the worst, man. Because there's something about Return of the King that makes you very depressed and sad. You know what I'm saying? When I saw Return of the King, I had a good time on theaters, obviously, but I was not as entertained, not even close to being as entertained as watching the first one. The first one was the best movie experience I ever had in my life. And that's why you can argue Fellowship of the Ring is better, but as I watched the movies more, I grew to love Two Towers more than Fellowship of the Ring. It's just more interesting with the Helm's Deep battle in the end. That was too sick. The Helm's Deep battle in the end. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but Two Towers has the slowest pacing. You have to get used to the slowest pacing, but the story is very, very top notch. With Gollum and Frodo and them, you get captured by Faramir, and you have what? You have Aragorn and all of them. They're chasing the orcs. They meet Emmer and the people of Rohan. They give them horses, and you know what I'm saying. They go through the fucking forest. They meet Gandalf. Yeah, it's the best of the three movies. You have that beautiful soundtrack. Remember that song? It was like, and for wrath, and for ruin, and the red dawn. I forget what he said. And for wrath, and for ruin, and the red dawn. Uh, Remember that? Yeah, that was beautiful, man. Yeah, beautiful soundtrack, man. And that's why Peter Jackson's perfect for Zanus, man. Peter, man, you know what I'm saying? The magic that you did, you know what I'm saying? The magic that you did for Lord of the Rings, I want you doing that magic for Zanus, man. Please, Peter. I don't want you winging it. We need to work hard. I want you working even double harder than what you even did for Lord. Yeah, don't worry, but I'll work even double harder. You're paying me more money. Yeah, I'm paying because I paid him his 10 mil signing bonus. I can pay him a bit more. I can pay Peter 85 to keep him more happy if you want. I can pay Mel Gibson even 56. I can pay up Peter's salary by 2 if I want. I can pay him 85. Pay him a 12 mil bonus. No, pay him a 10 mil sign bonus after film is completed if you want. Peter Jackson to keep him happy. You can pay him a bit more. Pay him 85. I'll pay him 10 mil signing bonus, $65 million size start production, and a 10 mil bonus after film is completed. So Peter Jackson will make his 75 million for that 1 year, and he makes his 10 million for pre-production. It's a good deal for Peter Jackson, as he did not make that for Lord of the Rings. For Lord of the Rings, he only made 10 million salary for the entire project, and he got a piece of the profits, and he struck it rich with the profits, obviously. I told you when Peter Jackson executive produce and all that stuff, and directed Lord of the Rings. He only made 10 million bucks, and he worked his ass off. I saw the behind the scenes. I saw him with the Frank woman and Philip woman, whatever her name is. He was going over the script. He was working really hard. And he only made a shitty 10 million bucks for the contract. When in Hollywood, when they pay your salaries for the contract of the whole movie, man, they pay you. Chances are, what they do is they probably pay the directors a small like bonus, and then they pay them the rest of their salary at start production, something like that, or after production. Peter Jackson he might have maybe gotten maybe 2 million bucks, $1 million, and they paid him his 9 million to film the 3 movies, obviously. But Peter Jackson negotiated for a piece of the profits, obviously, because his production company his production company is what his production company was a part of the movie, obviously. Wingnut Films, that was Peter Jackson's production company. He was a part of that Lord of the Rings movie, obviously. That's why I believe Peter Jackson got to negotiate for a nice piece of the profits. I think he took home like Lord of the Rings grossed $3 billion, so Peter Jackson took home like I don't know 5% of the pie, man, something crazy, and he made like $180 million off the profits. I told you, when Peter Jackson was doing pre-production, he didn't know if Lord of the Rings would be this successful. He took a chance. Okay, give me 10 million bucks, and I'll negotiate I don't know 5% of the first dollar for the back end box office, and the movies ended up being a huge hit. And Peter Jackson struck it rich, and he made like $180 million off Lord of the Rings. He made a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? And he still worked his ass off. Well, imagine me paying him a 10 mil bonus for 3 years of pre-production. That's what he made for the whole project of the whole movie, for his salary, and I'm paying that for a signing bonus for pre-production. Hey Peter, I'll pay you 10 million for just pre-production, the first 3 years of pre-production. That's a good. Oh, that's a good deal. Yeah, 10 million bucks for 3 years of pre-production. That's a nice paycheck. That's $10 million in New Zealand money. It's like $13 million. And Peter Jackson is gonna make like I don't know 6.57 million bucks after taxes and his agent in his bank. 13 million after taxes is what? Is I believe 8 million bucks. 7.6 million bucks. Yeah, Peter Jackson's making like 6.8 million after taxes. So you get your nice $10 million signing bonus. You get your $6.8 million check after taxes in your bank, obviously. That's a lot of money, obviously. And all you have to do is this is for pre-production. You get your nice check for pre-production. So for the first 3 years, you get your $6.8 million check in your bank, which is a lot of money. It's a good deal for Peter Jackson. All right, that's a good deal. This is how much I made for Lord of the Rings as a whole for my salary. You know what I'm saying? For the entire project, pre-production, production, and post-production, and you paid me 10 million for pre-production only. Yeah, you get your 10 million bucks for pre-production. Help me with the main 7 things. Help me write the script, a nice sacred script. Help me what? Consult with the 7 team sometimes. Just sometimes, not all the time, just a few times. Help him out a little bit. Take your directing notes and do the concept arts with me, and that's it. That's all Peter Jackson has to do. And I'll have him help me sign some of the contracts. He can help me sign What a Workshop. The supervisor of What a Workshop, pay him as nice like $270,000, and pay all the other guys a nice $100,000. Peter Jackson help you sign the contracts. With the people overseeing the extras, pay the supervisor a nice like $200K, and you pay the other guys $100,000. But you're gonna have to divide their salaries. You're gonna have to split their salaries. Okay, when you guys are flown to Switzerland the second you do the sign-ups for the extras, I'll only have you stay in Switzerland for a good like month. A month is more enough time. Stay in Switzerland for a good month, 2 weeks to a month. I'll have them stay in a hotel, but those guys I will not have them stay in luxury hotels. Tell the 17 book standard cheaper hotels for them. Like $800 night hotels is good enough. Have them stay in standard. You have to watch out for your budget. They're not your stars, hence why I'm not having them stay in luxury hotels. Have them stay in a nice like $800 night hotel. And fly the good like 50 people to Switzerland. Have them oversee the what? The extras, and you pay them like I don't know. You can pay the people a good for a month. You can pay them like 10 grand, 5 grand. They're staying there for 1 month. Pay the people 5 grand. The assistants 5 grand. You can pay the supervisor 10 grand. That's a nice paycheck for because they only need to be there for a good month. All the extras gather. The first day they have an introduction. Okay, they hand all the what, all the extras, their sheets, the information. They have to sign up. They give them all their cards for the for to get paid. Okay, guys, when you go home, sign up on your computer, and that way you register in the system. That way, when you scan your card, you get your $180 in your bank, in your card. You have this SkySource gift card, and you have this machine and they scan the card and they get their $180. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They only need to gather in Switzerland for a good like 2 weeks. That's enough. 2 weeks to a month. Obviously, in the extras, okay, with my 17 are going to have to rent a venue, a huge like stadium, and then that's where all the 60,000 extras are going to gather. Obviously. Okay, first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fly in the people who are seeing the extras to Switzerland. I'm gonna put out an ad on my website. We need extras for I have the keys. The world will know. We need extras for my Zane's movie, and all the extras are gonna sign up. And I'm gonna tell my secretaries have to be specific with the extras. Okay, for the wolf army, I want muscular, strong men for the wolves. They don't have to be muscular strong, but I need what? I need 25,000. I don't know. For the movie, I might just have 18,000 wolves, and you just add in the CGI to make it look like there's 25,000 wolves to save money. Tell Peter Jackson, hey Peter, even though in the book I say there's 25,000 wolf army, for the movie we can just hire 18,000 to save money. Because I'm scared $25,000 is going to affect the budget. We can have 18,000 wolf extras in the movie, obviously. And we can just add in the special effects to make it look like there's 25,000 wolves. That way we save money. For the Zane army, I might have them be maybe 10,000 people. In the book, there's 15,000 people in Zane army. In the movie, I might have them be maybe 11,000 Zane men to save money for the extras. Obviously, for the gathering, I can have 25,000 people. So I can afford 30,000 people over the gathering. For the gathering, I can afford 30,000 people. But you got the big gatherings where there's thousands of people. That's gonna really cost me a lot of money, like $1 million a day, man. 1,000,000, 500, 400 grand, 300 grand a day. It's gonna cost me. Hence why what? And there's a lot of gatherings in Zanus. There's a good like 12, 13 gatherings in Zanus. Something crazy. So the gatherings alone are gonna cost me like 13 million, 14 million, 15 million bucks alone for the movie, obviously. That's why you have to have a big budget for the what? For the main. You also have the war. The war will probably take a good like week to film. I'm gonna tell Peter Jackson, Peter, let's take our time with the war. Let's not rush it. I don't mind even waiting. I don't mind even filming for 1 week. Let's take our time with the war. That we get a good war, man. Because the war in the end of my book is a grand epic scale war. Peter, I want something more grand scale than even what you got for Helm's Deep and the armies of Mordor. If you thought the war in Lord of the Rings was crazy, it's nothing compared to the war you're looking at for Zanus. You're looking at a grand scale epic war, a clash between two kings, the king of the north and the king of the south, and the prince of the south. Yeah, pretty much the story of Zanus. To sum it up, the story of Zanus is pretty much it's a war between two kings. You have Tactius, who's the king of the north, and you have the Erethat, who's the king of the south. But there's a much deeper plot to the story, obviously. But I don't want to. I can't tell you without spoiling the story for you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, for the war for the end war in my book, obviously for the movie might take a good week to film. Man, take a good week to film. I'm gonna tell Peter Jackson because hey Peter, Mel, let's take our time with the war. Let's not rush this. I want this war to be a grand scale epic. Well, Ivan, don't worry about it. No, I'm saying, Ivan, I directed Lord of the Rings. I know what I'm doing. You have to trust me, Ivan. Peter, I trust you, man. I trust you. You know what I'm saying? I trust you. You know, Ivan, do you trust Peter Jackson? Yes, I trust him. I trust him with my life, man. I know as long as he co-writes it with me and he does the concerts, I'll get a good movie. Because Peter Jackson's a talented director. You know what I'm saying? And he knows what he's doing. Mel Gibson's a talented director too. They're both very talented. I trust them. But I told you, even good directors can make bad movies. As Peter Jackson, even though he's a creative genius, he's an amazing director. The Hobbit, he didn't do that good with The Hobbit. The Hobbit wasn't that great. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as the Star Wars sequels, because at least The Hobbit you had you know what I'm saying, you had like a story. But like the Battle of the Armies was not a good movie, man. That was a bad movie. And Peter Jackson knows, that was bad. Yes, it was bad. And the first two Hobbit movies were okay. They weren't great. They were okay. They weren't terrible. I saw Destination Smog on theaters. It was pretty good. It was pretty good when I saw it in theaters. But it was not Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was much better than The Hobbit. You see what I'm saying? Lord of the Rings was much better than The Hobbit. That's why what? Yeah, man. That's why for the war I'm gonna have the first unit directors, the second unit directors help out Peter Jackson a lot with the war. I'm gonna look, man, for all the action sequences. I want you guys helping out Peter Jackson, Guillermo del Toro, or Mel Gibson and his assistant director. I want you helping out those guys for the action sequences. So the battle sequence, the war with Takis the First and Aratat, the big battle with Tacitonius, Cassius, their 50 men, and Fafulin, 25 wolves. I want you guys help choreographing that. You can even have the stuntmen help them out. You can have the stuntmen help Peter Jackson all them out with the fighting styles. For what? With all the actors who are fighting in the movie. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I want you guys choreographing the scenes like very carefully. That way you get an amazing movie, amazing action sequences. Look at something unheard of for the action sequence. Something like better than even Matrix, man. Remember that scene when Neo fought Smith in the rain? Well, think of an epic grand scale war like that with Tactius fighting Aratat and Faful, man. You see what I'm saying? Think of a grand scale war like that. Something crazy, man. Yeah, man. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Ivan, are you going to add any characters in the movie? No, I am not adding any characters, and I am not cutting out any characters. I'm not going to do a Peter Jackson whereby he adds characters and cuts out characters. As Peter Jackson cut out quite a lot of characters in the Lord of the Rings movie. You have Fatty Bulger, you have Gildor, you have Glorfindel, Tom Bombadil, Goldberry, his wife. You see what I'm saying? You have all these characters. Gloin was in the Council of Elrond, whereas in the movie he's not in the Council of Elrond. Gimli's father, obviously. You also have the other characters. Did I say Fatty Gover? Yeah. You have Haldir. Remember Haldir in Return of the King? Yeah, he's cut out. Obviously, yeah, you have a lot of characters that are cut out in the movie, obviously. Whereas for me, I'm not cutting out any of the characters in my Zayn story. I'm going to have, okay, Peter, I don't want you pulling what you did for Lord of the Rings, cutting out all these scenes and characters and dialogue. We need to follow the book, and I'm not cutting out any characters. Peter Jackson, yeah, we don't need to cut out any characters. All your characters are good for the movie. Yeah, all my characters are good. The characters of Mel and Lau, they're the kitchen workers. I'm not going to cut out those characters. They have a part to play in the plot, obviously, with Queen Sarah and Lithius. You see what I'm saying? Hence why I'm not going to cut them out. But because they're not going to be in that much scenes, I'm going to pay those characters like $150,000 for the role. That's a good paycheck for them. $150,000 you can pay them. $160,000 you can pay them for the role. It's a good paycheck for those. Those are very minor characters. They're only in like 4 or 5 scenes. Show my camera.